Hello everyone, and welcome to the Retro Seller. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at a game box, which is something that we haven't really looked at on this channel for quite a while. We've mostly been doing either game sticks or the handhelds, so it'll be nice to take a look at one of these things. This one in particular is the Machen Hyperbase R1. It's an Android TV game box, which has a dual boot. You can use it as an Android TV box where you can watch Netflix and YouTube and things like that, or as we're using it in this case, as a gaming console where you can boot it into emulation, and with an SD card you have access to a ton of games. Now this thing isn't that easy to find anymore. I got it maybe a year or two ago. I think it came out first in about 2022. So since then it seems to have disappeared from the market. I saw it on eBay where I think it was originally going for like $94. It's out of stock. It's out of stock on Amazon. And from what I've seen, it was going for some ridiculous prices. But I think I got this on AliExpress for probably around $40. I'm not so sure. I don't really remember. But anyway, the specs on this are it has a CPU running an Logic S905 X3. Yet another S905. It's running at 1.9 gigahertz. It has a Mali G31 GPU running a quad-core ARM Cortex A55 processor. It has 4 gigabytes of RAM for its memory. Runs over like 40 emulators. Obviously, like most of these things, it's going to run 8-bit and 16-bit things well. PlayStation. But as with all of these, it's going to struggle for anything above that, like N64, Dreamcast, Saturn, PSP. Those are going to be really hit or miss. Other than that, it comes with 2 wired controllers, which are unlike anything that I've seen from any other system. They're actually not too bad looking. We'll see how they do when we plug them in, but they are wired. It came packaged really nicely. That's one thing I can say about it. So how about without further ado, we'll take a look at everything that you get in that box, play a bunch of games on it, probably not too many. Obviously, like I said, it's going to run the lower end stuff well. We'll try some of the higher end stuff, see how it does, and then see if this is something that you want to add to your retro game box collection. Here we have the box for the Machen Hyperbase R1, and it's a very nice case that they sent it in. That almost makes it worth it, I suppose. But let's open this puppy up and see what we get inside. So first here we have the manual, which isn't too bad. Gives you little information on what you have here, what you have inside, being the box itself, the controllers, the remote, game card, blah, 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 and how to set it up, how to boot into emulation. A bunch of useful information as far as that goes, but it's not that hard to figure out on your own. What else do we have here? We have our power cord, which I believe is a 5-volt adapter for it, with a little power switch on it, which is nice to have. Although with these devices, you don't want to just turn it off with this. You want to shut it down in the system itself, as usual. What else do we have? We have the controllers. There's 2 different kinds here as far as colors are concerned. They're the same style of USB controller. They're actually not too bad. Not horribly flimsy. Got a bunch of buttons on these things besides the D-pad, which it's doable, I suppose. Your ABXY buttons, pretty standard. Your dual analog sticks, nice and clicky. You have a turbo button, a clear button, select start and mode, and you have your right and left trigger buttons. Not bad. It's nice to see something a little different than your standard PlayStation 3 knockoff controller. So this isn't bad, at least. And let's get these out of the way. And up here, let's open her up. You have the game box itself, which we'll look at shortly. You have your HDMI cable. And as this is an Android TV box, should you choose to use it as such, this is a remote control that comes with it in order to navigate your various streaming services. And then, last but not least, let's take a look at the game box itself. Around here on the back, you'll have your USB port, an Ethernet port to hook it up to the internet. I believe this is also Wi-Fi capable as well. And your HDMI port. Here's your port for your 5-volt adapter. And then on this side, you get another USB port. Both of these you use for your wired controllers. That's our look at what you get in the box. So how about we hook it up to the TV, play some games on it. We're not going to go bananas because there's thousands upon thousands of games on it. Probably some ROM dumps in there as well. And we'll just try a few here and there, the lower end and the higher end, and see how this thing performs. And after we go through a little splash screen when we power the device on, this is our main menu where we have all games, favorites. We're going to go through these pretty quick, so there's a lot of emulators, so just to give you an idea, we're just going to scroll through them real fast. Got all your Ataris. And I got some WonderSwan. That was the regular one in the color. All your CPSs, Coleco, Commodore VIC, Commodore 64, Amiga, and wow, there's a awful lot on here. Vectrex, that's awesome. TurboGrafx 16, PC Engine Super Graphics. This TurboGrafx CD. Wow, there's definitely a lot on here. Gotta give it that. Our Game Boys, all your Nintendos, Virtual Boy, Nintendo 64, Game Boy. Got some hacks in there. See, Pokemon, Nintendo DS, Panasonic 3DO. That, although there's only 8 games, if you look down there on the bottom right, it gives you the amounts of games on it. I haven't really seen too many systems in this range that can actually play 3DO for some reason. Your ports, open bore, Thomas Wave, the SG-1000. That's awesome. Mark III, Master System, Mega Drive, Genesis. Got your hacks, Game Gear, hacks, Mega Drive, Sega 32X. All this stuff should play. Sega CD. This might struggle. This will struggle. Yomi, that's essentially Dreamcast. That's going to struggle too, probably. How many games were there? Anyways, 6 games. Sharp, Sinclair, Spectrum, Neo Geo CD, Neo Geo MVS AES, Neo Geo Pocket, Pocket Color, your PS1, PSP, PSP Minis. These should play okay on it. These Minis are Usually they put those in with the PSP games and try to pass it off as regular games, but at least they separate it. Supervision and back to all games. If you hit the select button, this will bring you into your menu for Emulec or RetroArch. And we don't really need to go into this. I have other videos out there as far as how to go into these menus and tweak a lot of the stuff. There's things you could do with the frame rate to try and improve performance, all this kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into that again here. As I said, I have other videos, and there's other videos on YouTube that show you how to access and use these menus. But this menu is also where you would, if you see down on the bottom, where you would shut down the system before you power it off. That's always the safest way to do it on these systems. Now, when we go into the actual game menu, this is actually pretty cool. They have a display of the boxes, basically, the game art. This wouldn't be box for arcade, but this is actually pretty neat how they have this. But let's see what we have in here. So we're going to play 1943. I don't know if you could see it up on the top. The top of the screen is kind of cut off on it. Might have to go in and adjust the aspect ratio. As you can see, they have bezels on the side, which is pretty cool. Look at the MAME menu. As I said before, it appears as if there are some ROM dumps in here. So you got 18-wheeler, American Pro Trucker, and several different versions. They look exactly the same. I don't see any difference with some of these. But again, ROM dump with multiple games of each one. So take that how you will. Might as well play 18-wheeler in MAME. So as they bring up 18-wheeler here, for some reason, no matter what I press, select, start, A, B, X, Y, doesn't seem to do much of anything with this. You just got numbers changing over there on the, I don't know what any of this is. But you can't drop a coin in, nothing. See if you can at least get out of the screen. Now that you can. Now we're going to try Ace Driver in MAME and see if this at least functions. And no, that's not working either. How about we just skip MAME altogether? This is running good. I'd be incredibly disappointed if it didn't. So we're in CPS2, and again, Dungeons and Dragons, Shadow over Mystara. Look at all the copies of this, and there's no indication that one is different from the other, or that they'll even function. But I mean, look at ROM dump. Lots and lots of the same game. I don't know why they do this. And we're having the same error screen for this game as well. This is disappointing. Let's try another one. Let's go down to the end of GigaWing and see if this one works. You kind of have to turn the controller on the side. And the A button is the left flipper and the Y button is the right. You have to press down on the D-pad in order to pull back the plunger. In a very slight delay with the buttons. So if you listen to me hitting it, it's very slight. It's not horrible. It's more noticeable when you play it than when you watch it. Almost. Jesus. All right, now we're going to get into some Nintendo 64 and see how good this runs, if at all.
Ready? Go!
Oops. Isn't too bad, surprisingly. This isn't glitching. That's a good sign. All right, so we're playing Mario Kart on Nintendo DS. Again, if you look on the left side, everything's kind of cut off. Not quite sure how to fix that, to be honest. Yeah.
Johnny.
This is playing okay. So here we're trying to run Sega Saturn. Get used to these controls here. I mean, it's playable. But the audio is really glitchy. So we're going to play Daxter on the PSP. They don't have that many games on here. They're trying to be wise with what they put on it because a lot of the harder to play games won't. This one might, but we shall see. The menu screen is nice. That's probably all we're going to see here. It won't load up anything. Oh well, we won't play this one. So this is Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories on the PSP, and as you can see, it's glitching, the audio's glitching, the video's stuttering. Yeah, this is, as expected, this is pretty much unplayable. So how about we try to finish this up with one last system, which would be the Dreamcast. Let's try Dead or Alive 2 and see if this plays. So as expected, this is glitching out as well. That was our look at the Machen Hyperbase R1. Do you need one of these things? If you're new to emulation and you're not horribly tech savvy, this is a good option for you as a stepping stone, for beginners. Where it's good is if you don't have any of these older systems, this is a good way for you to at least try them out. Especially if you're in the market for getting one of these systems. If you have all the old systems like I do, this is a good way to be able to play those games and some that you might not have without putting any wear and tear on your consoles or having to pull out all your cartridges to play the games. It's always a nice option. There are better options out there, better performing options. There are options where you can just buy a game box yourself. They're available on eBay and AliExpress. Just download Emulec onto it, use some USB controllers or wireless controllers on it, and add your own ROMs and design your own system. But again, for people that are new to this, this is a pretty good option, and it's relatively budget friendly, depending on how you go about it. You may not be able to get this particular one anymore, but they're out there and they're all running the S905 chip, and you're going to have similar performance no matter which ones you get. So for that reason, I think it's nice to have them. But again, there's better options out there. But that's it for this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.